What's going on, guys? It's Almond. Welcome back to another Wizard101 video. Today's video we're going to be going over the Lord Nightshade Rematch Duel. Eventually you guys should see a whole series of all these rematch duels and the optimal strat. Probably going to need some tweaking here and there down the line, but for the Lord Nightshade I have a consistent 3-round strat. Not too sure if you can make it quicker than 3-round because of the fact that you can't use will cast and you can't really use certain things because of the fact that it follows challenge mode rules. So you can't really enchant your cards, you can't really use will cast pet talents and certain stuff like that. So keep that in mind going forward with all of these videos that I'm going to be posting soon, but I just wanted to make that more of a note. But if you do enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. And let's get into the Lord Nightshade Rematch Duel. So it's a 3-round strat, very simple, very straightforward. The boss drops the Skyfarer amulet and wands. They're just renamed to the Malister stuff, but you also do get the reagents and the pity system that you can use to craft the certain ones that you guys want. And this is also a pretty decent farm if you want to get Azoth and Spellmans, because of the fact that we don't have the OG way of farming the croc duels. So I kind of made this video specifically targeted to the people who can't really use the pet talent and they want to do something to farm Azoth at least in a squad of 4. This is probably going to be your next best bet. It's 3 rounds, which is not the same as the croc as we used to farm. It was literally 1 round. So instead of 1 rounding, you're actually going to 3 rounds. Eventually we'll see what the other duels look like, but from what it seems like, all the other ones are going to be like 4, 5, 6 rounds, you know, because of the fact the amount of cheats that they have. So the Nightshade one is more consistent and you can do it in 3 rounds. That's why I wanted to particularly upload this one first, so people can prioritize this if they wanted to farm one of the duels. I know if some people were wanting to farm the decks and the rings, and I'll eventually get to those bosses. Just wait till I upload those videos, and who knows, someone might upload a strat before me, and some people might even spread around the strat that they already use down the line in discords and stuff like that. But for now, we're starting off with Lord Nightshade because it's consistent. So first, let me talk about stat caps, right? Eventually you're going to see all these slides. I'll probably put a link to them whenever I'm done, so you should see a link at the bottom of this video. If you don't, it's because I'm still working on all of them, but the Discord will know more about this down the line. So the stat caps. So how the scaling works in this duel is you're gonna be scaled down to level 50. So you want to prioritize level 160. Most of the people that are going to be farming this are probably going to be 160. So for this example, I'm going to use 160. Sadly, for like level 100 and stuff like that, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go talk to the vendor in the PvP arena to see what your stats look like. But for 160 people, I got you. You can also check Final Bastion too if you wanted to check out the level 100 stats, but for the purpose of the video, I'm just gonna use 160. So as you guys can see by this image, if you have 183 damage, that is the stat cap for PvP and advanced combat and raids, right, at the moment. So if you had 183 damage, if you go to the second slide, that 183 damage is going to be 82 damage, which is the stat cap for level 50. You can't have more than 82 damage on a storm in the duel. So if I had like, let's say like 85 or something like that damage, it's not going to be scaled down to 82. It's scaled down per, like they scale it down a certain way. So you want to reach the stat caps on your 160, which is 183, because you'll scale it down to 82. It's like a percentage system. I don't want to explain it. It's just too confusing. Just make sure you go for your school stats in each column, and you can basically do that, and it'll scale you down to the max stats in that category. So keep that in mind. And pip chance is probably going to be the most like annoying one going forward, because if you want to reach max power pips, you can't really do that on certain schools. So I kind of like having the idea of dual schooling on a death, right, and having a mastery and stuff like that. But the issue is the fact that you have 23 accuracy compared to Storm, Fire, which you have perfect accuracy for, so you can't really dual school as much. But it's still viable. It's still viable for dual schooling. So the power pips are the only annoying thing, but you can make a workaround of it. But for the strat, you don't have to worry about power pips, even with the issue going forth. So kind of want to do a basic explanation before I get into the video, and some people understand how the stats work. But what is the Lord Nightshade, what his cheats are, everything like that. Got you guys with the image, made one in the Google Slides. But he has 10k HP. There won't be different tiers. All those tiers are nullified. They don't exist anymore. So he has 10k HP and 500, so 10.5. Yes. So here are his cheats. Your Doom approaches. At the start of the round, he will do an equalized bubble, which is a damage cap of 250. So don't even worry about it, about getting hit by him. Just don't even worry about it, right? It's not going to do damage because the equalized bubble is on the field for everybody, including him. And then after a couple rounds, he'll do another cheat called Closer, where he changes the bubble to a 500, and then he has another one where it's like and Closer, which changes it and doubles the damage. Now it's 1,000, then it's almost here, then he changes it to 2,000, and then after that your Doom is now, which he will change the bubble to a Doom and Gloom, and essentially at the end of the round he's going to just do 100k. But you'll never reach that cheat because of the fact that you're gonna do this in 3 rounds. But if somebody wanted to know the cheats, here you are, right? And then at the end of every round, he's gonna do a Deer Knight, and the Deer Knight is gonna do damage based upon the bubble. So it originally does 100k, but since there's an equalized bubble, it caps out the damage depending on the equalize. So if there's an equalize going on that's 250, the Deer Knight is only gonna do 250. It's not gonna do 100k. But if you switch the bubble and you don't kill that round, yeah, you're dead, because the Deer Knight is going to do 100k, because it does base 100k. It's just the equalized bubble is making it so it does less damage to you. But there's that. And then he also has where if you try changing the bubble, he just changes the bubble back. He doesn't have like the cheat how he used to, where he would put shields and stuff like that. Doesn't have any of that cheats. But your boy has a workaround of this whole fight, so don't even have to think. Whatever. Now let's come into the strat. The strat is very simple, right? I'm not going to make it too difficult for you guys. I have 2 different ones depending if you have fires or storms, so you guys can pick or choose what you want to do. You don't have to use these exact cards. I just made it straightforward for people if they wanted to do this way. But essentially all you're doing is just stacking up multiple buffs, and then just make sure on the last or the 3rd round you're doing a trap and then a dispel, and then you're changing the bubble and then hit with whatever, right? This is the strat I've been doing and been farming consistently with, where you have a balanced death and 2 fires. It doesn't have to be balanced, it doesn't have to be a death, and it doesn't have to be fire. Just make sure your hitter is just fire, right? But you essentially just blade, trap, blade. Just do that a bunch of times, and then you just Phoenix on the 3rd round when there's a death dispel, because you can't really do damage unless you death dispel him and then change the bubble, because he'll use the dispel and then you can hit with whatever you want. So if you don't crit, you're always going to do like 12k, right? You're always doing 12k and above, and the boss only has 10k, so it makes it easy for you guys. And the same thing for the storms. If you want to do this with the storm, same exact thing. You're just switching up the strats, and you're switching up the fire blades to storm blades, and you're just using a Stormzilla, because by the end of the 3rd, or at the start of the 3rd round, you should have 5 pips, even if you fail pip. So it shouldn't be that easy. There is a chance you might have 4, but if you have a wand on, you're getting a power pip from your wand, so you're gonna have 5. If for some reason you have a new pip on your wand, yeah, you're not having Stormzilla by round 3. Just extend this by another round if you have to. But that's the strat. Pretty straightforward. Just blading and trapping, and then just 3rd round make sure you dispel, bubble, and then hit with whatever. Yeah, pretty straightforward. So if you guys do want to farm this, definitely highly recommend. If you want Azoth, it's a pretty easy farm. Like I said, round 1 you're just doing blades, blade the last person. If you don't have a blade, trap, and just make sure that none of these are different, or make sure they're all different. You don't want to have stacking of the same blade and then you don't kill because you didn't do 1 extra buff, you know. So you kind of have to do that, because if you miss one of these traps or blades, you're kind of screwed. So I kind of went based upon low percentage and realistic, so you don't have to use treasure cards or anything like that. If you have the people to do this, you can easily just farm this, right? Just make sure you have different traps, different blades, and you'll do fine. if there's at least enough to have 5 buffs, or not 5 buffs, if you have 9 buffs, because you're gonna bubble change no matter what, and this is a 25 bubble, right? You're killing, like you're just killing. Just make sure they're all different and you'll be fine, right? You'll be fine. Ideally you would want a fire hitter or a storm hitter, in my opinion. You can use a balance hitter, right? If you really wanted to. You can use a life hitter, but honestly I think just use a fire, use a storm, because like a lot of this community has fires and storms, so I just kind of expect that at this point. If you don't have a fire and storm on your account, I don't know, man. Some people have myths. You can use a myth in this fight. You can 100% use a myth in this fight. You're just going to use something else other than some type of 5 pip, honestly. Just not school pip stuff, because it's not 100%. You can probably use TCs if you wanted to as well. But yeah, that is it for the video, guys. Kind of want to just put that out there, right? Here's the strat. There you go. Right. I don't need to go too much in depth with this strat. Just make sure you death the spell in round 3. The second person does, and then just bubble and hit. Easy peasy. You guys got this. But yeah, it does drop amulets. It does drop wands. Pretty straightforward. And you do get the pity wands and stuff like that. So if you get stuff that has no stats, that's just because it is for the pity system, right? That's about it. Right, but if you do have any questions regarding the rematch duel, let me know in the comments below, or even message me on Discord. I'm gonna probably put this somewhere in the Discord so people can actually like look at this, and if they wanted to farm Azoth or whatever like that. But it's a really easy fight, like I said, really easy fight. Unless this gets changed within the next coming weeks, I probably won't make another video on the Nightshade duel. Unless stat caps are changed, or some type of cheat was introduced, or they made it so you can't death dispel him, this video will remain here and you guys can look back at it whenever, right? But that is it. Good way of farming Azoth, good way of getting the amulet and wand if you really care about the Skyfire amulet and wand. But mainly people are going to be using this if they don't have any other option to farm Azoth. Instead of croc duels, you're just going to do Nightshade. But that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that type of stuff, and catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.